Hello there, kindergarten friends. Are you ready to do an entry into your nature journal? I'm going to show you how I work on my nature journal. And maybe you'll get some good ideas. Maybe you want to copy along with me and do what I'm doing as well. So since you last saw the video, I've decorated my journal just a little bit more with some of the things that I love about nature. And when we start a journal, it's just like the journals we do at school. So we're going to turn the page until we get to the next empty page. And I discovered something the other day. Dun, dun, dun! Is that I used a black marker and I didn't put anything underneath the cover. And so the color bled through. Shock and horror. Am I going to cry? Goodness, no, because it's all good. I could draw on that, or I could just turn the page, and I think that's what I'm going to do. There we go, look at that beauty. I'm going to take this clip and clip it down onto my whiteboard, just because I like to have something that's nice and sturdy when I do my drawing. We saw a lot of things in the video together. If you watch the video with me, we found violets, we found ferns, we found a caterpillar. What else did we find? Some sedum, I think some stone crops, some hens and chicks, and different plants like that. So when I come home, what I like to do is think about the plants that I really wanted to identify. So I really want to know what that plant is, or it could be a butterfly, or a bug, or a creature. And I have a whole bunch of books at home called field guides. I have a lot of these because I love nature. And these books I can go and I can look through and find what I'm looking for. And they have lots of pictures in them. And I try to get ones that are from where we live. So in Souk or in BC. If you don't have books like that, and not everybody does, you can go on the internet and have your family help you search. Especially if you're looking for plants, you just do plants of BC or caterpillars of big BC, and there's a lot of good stuff. But remember, always go online with a parent. This is a nice little field guide too. It's really little. It's kind of like its own little nature journal in and of itself. And it has a few common things that you might see when you are traveling around in nature in Souk. Can you look at some of the pictures? Have you seen any of those creatures? Well, we saw this today, which is a sword fern. We saw that outside today. So that's a little field guide like that too that you can help use to identify what you're looking for. This is a field guide. We're going to look for the violet. I want to know what kind of violets we saw today. So I'm going to go in the back of the book. Listen to this. Isn't that a good sound? We're going to go to the back of the book, to the index. This is pretty fancy stuff. And I'm going to look for the word violet. Listen to that sound. Violin in the van. And here we go, violet. And it's telling me to go to page 201. 201. 201. We're going to look down here for 201. 201. There we go. And right off the bat, I see some plants that look a lot like the violets that we saw. Which one do you think looks like the most? Let's turn the page and see if there's any other violets. Oh yeah, there's our white one. The white one that we looked at. Did we see any yellow violets today? No, we didn't. Okay. We'll go back to the purple ones. Let me just sneak peek over here. Nope. What do you think? This one? I think so too. And this is called Viola adunca. Oh, that's fancy. So what we're going to do is use a picture from your camera that you took, or if you're outside, you could just look at the plant, and I'm going to use this picture here to help me draw in my nature journal. I'm going to use a pencil. I hope you can see it. First thing, I'm going to put a dot right in the middle of my journal, and that's where we want to start our drawing. To make a violet, we need how many petals? I'll give you a hint. You have this many fingers on one hand, including your thumb. 5 petals. You got it. Touching the dot in the middle, I'm going to make 2 petals up from the top. I'm going to go out like rabbit ears, round and back. 1 petal. I'm going to do it again. Go up, around, and back. Oh, what shape does that look like to you guys? Yeah, it looks like a heart to me too. Now, I'm going to do the big petal at the bottom. And I like to think of it kind of like a big dot, the tongue of a dog. So I'm going to touch that dot. I'm going to do a really big, thick petal right back there. Okay, now this is really starting to look like a bunny. We're going to need those petals, one on either side, that I think makes the violet flower look a bit like a bee or another insect. I'm going to touch the dot. I'm going to come away from one side, kind of curl it a little bit, and then come right back. So like that. Do the same on the other side, but in the opposite way. Kind of curling, coming back. There we go. There are some beautiful petals. If you look really closely in the violet, you'll see too that there's these little lines that come out from the center, and they're like almost like stripes, and they come down on this big petal at the bottom. And what those stripes are for is it'll tell a little bee or another pollinating bug, come this way. These are going, come this way, come this way. So the bee can come in and go, okay, whoop, and into the center of the flower where it can get some nectar and then help pollinate it. Now, we need to put some leaves on this flower. Do you remember what shape I said I thought the leaves look like? Yeah, also like a heart. So down here I'm going to draw, let's see, a little stem coming out the side here for this flower to go into the earth. And I'm going to draw another little stem. Let's see, another one here that goes straight down. It's going to look like the letter F. I want it to go down because the leaf is going to grow off the bottom of the stem like a lantern. I'm going to touch the bottom of that stem, and I'm going to make a heart. So to make a heart, I don't know if you remember how I taught you before, but it's kind of like the letter M with a V on the bottom. But we're going to try it a bit differently this way. Touch that dot, make a rainbow, and then go down to the ground and stop. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. In a different direction. Make a rainbow, nice and big, go around and down and stop. Now in a real violet, if you could look really closely, you'll notice that the edges of the leaf are kind of jagged. So what I want to do is make little tiny bumps all around the edge now. I'm going to do little rainbows. Boing, 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 all the way down. I hope you're doing this too. If I go too fast, remember you can always put the video on pause. I'm going to put some more of those stripes on the leaf, but the stripes on the leaves are veins. We've talked about veins before, haven't we? Remember, all of us have veins. People have veins. Those are mine. They help blood flow from my heart to the rest of my body, and plants have veins. They help water and nutrients flow from the roots all to the different parts of the body. So I'm going to cut this circle, or pardon me, this heart kind of in half. And then I'm going to have the veins coming off of it. Spew, spew, spew. Make sure those veins go to the edges of your leaf to bring all the nutrients and water to every little bit of that plant and flower. And make the stem look a little bit thicker too, because right now this stem looks like just it's thin like a thread, but in real life it was thin, but it wasn't that thin. It was thinner than a shoelace, but here. We should add another leaf. Let's try another one over here. Let's imagine that the stem is going to come up behind the petal and then come out kind of over here. You ready to make a big heart with me? So let's do a big round rainbow and a point. And on the other side, a big, I'm going to go behind there, round rainbow and a point. Some bumpy, jaggedy leaves. Boing, 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 boing. The more you start looking at plants really closely, the more you'll start noticing that they're different. Every leaf is pretty different in its shape, whether it's smooth on the edge, and the veins again. Starting at the stem, go down to the tip. Whoop, like that. Touching that line and going out to the edge. All the veins bringing water and nutrients, helping it grow. Yeah. Should we add one more? I want to put one more leaf, really big one right down here. I'm not even going to draw a stem. I'm just going to start here, draw my really big rainbow coming down to a point. Over here, really big rainbow, excuse me, other leaf, and coming down to a point. Lots of bumpies. Some leaves don't even look like leaves. The needles of a fir tree or a cedar tree, they don't even look like regular leaves. They're pretty special. Veins down the middle, remember? If you want to make your leaf look really puffy in 3D, you could make your veins round. You don't have to just make them straight. So watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to touch that middle line, and I'm going to make it like a rainbow. And what that will do in your art is give it the illusion of being 3D. Make it look like it's popping off the page. More veins. When you draw in your nature journal, you really should try to use what's called hard eyes, which means look at it like a microscope would see it. Look at it like a camera would see it. Look at it for every real detail and try to add that detail in. So there is our violet so far, but it's not done because we haven't added words to it yet. So it's a really good idea to label whatever flower this is. So it's violet. Do you want to write it with me? Okay. Vi. That's just an I. Vio. Oh, it's just an O. Viol. L. Yep. Violet. Like Ed in the engine. Last sound. Violet. Violet. Did you hear it? All right, it's a T. Violet. There you go. Here's a violet. You can also label your diagram with things that you've noticed, your picture. So if you wanted to write the word leaf, L, E, there's an A in this one too, leaf. Then you can even draw arrows or little lines that connect the word leaf to what you're talking about, leaf. You might want to label petal, vein. The next part is one of my most fun. After you've added all your information, you can start writing down questions. If you don't want to write down questions, you can always tell someone in your family. You could tell your parent, here's my question. Whatever you might think. So you might say, is this as big as violets get? Or could I have a violet that was as big as a basketball? Or the word violet also means the color purple. Is it called a violet because it's a purple flower? Or is the word violet mean purple because violet flowers are purple? Whatever questions you have, you can ask a parent. We're not always able to answer them, but it's good to have those questions. And who knows, later by reading books or looking at the internet, you just might find out. Let's color it. You can use markers. You could use crayons or pencil crayons, but here's the rule when you're doing nature journals. You really have to make the colors look like they do in real life. So even though if you love the color pink and you wish everything in the world was pink, this plant is not pink. So you need to make sure you make it look real. I'm going to try to choose the purple that closely matches. Tell me to stop when I get to the color that matches this flower. Right, I think so too. This one right here. So I'm going to get a little paint on my brush. I'm going to test it out over here a little bit. Oh, that actually looks really good. That's really close. Just like in drawing with painting, you're going to go slow around the outside. And then you can go fast on the inside. How does my color look? Pretty close? I think so too. If it was too dark, I could just use a bit more water on my brush. And if it was too light, I would just wiggle a little bit more in my paint to get the color darker. Something else you can do after you've done painting and your painting has dried is you can go ahead with markers over top and add even more detail. I think I'm going to do that with the stripes on my petal here. Is after this is dried, I'm going to use a nice dark violet colored marker, and I'm going to trace over them to make them really, really stand out. You can add the date if you want. It is April. You can add what the weather was like today, and also you can add any other little creatures that you saw. So with more time, I might draw that caterpillar, I might draw that flower that I have a question about, or the little fern as well. And that would be my nature journal for today. And I hope you liked it, and I'd love to see your nature journals as well. If you make one, will you please put it on MS Teams for me? You can either give it to me privately or you can put it on our sharing channel. Thank you, friends. Bye.